You ever have one of those jerk bosses that, just really loved yelling like it was an art form? And do you remember how awful that made you feel, whether you were on the receiving end of it or not? Yeah, I felt pretty awful during those times too. But apparently now, yelling's a good thing. Not kidding. Hey folks, Mark here with the Rational Workforce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Great to see you again. So today we're going to be talking about something that I think is a pretty big step backwards in what is acceptable corporate culture. And it comes at a time when, there's all sorts of discussions going on about work from home, work from the office, return to the office, employees are disengaged. There's just a litany of challenges that are going on in the workplace. So it's really concerning to see articles like this pop up. So this is from the Wall Street Journal. The title of the article is "Bad Bosses Yell, Some Good Ones Do Too." Many employees shut down when managers raise their voices, but others say candid feedback, even the loud kind, is underrated. And the article goes on to discuss Kate Broom, who is pictured here, chief executive of the Mass Challenge Business Accelerator, practices a management philosophy that differs from the Serenity Now mantras of many peers. It can be really productive to get mad. Just make sure you mean to. And it talks about how she leads this startup program. And even though yelling is mostly passé as a motivational tool, it doesn't mean supervisors should never raise their voices. Delivered at the right time in the right way, an occasional outburst can register as passionate and relatable. It's part of the humanity that employees seem to look for today. Okay, so let's stop there. We'll come back to the article in a minute. But this phrase, yelling is part of the humanity that employees seem to look for today. I'm calling bullshit on that for a couple of reasons. So first of all, do employees want to see greater degrees of humanity in the workplace? Absolutely. Do people lose their temper? Do people get frustrated? 100%, right? We're all human beings. But to start mainlining or mainstreaming the notion that losing your temper or hollering or yelling is something that employees are seeking today, I don't think that's the authenticity that most people are looking for. Here's what they are looking for. Hey, my kid's sick. I'm going to need to come in late today so I can make sure they get to be seen by the doctor's appointment, and I don't want to catch shit for it. Okay, that's a dose of humanity that I think a lot of people are looking for. Or, hey, my daughter has a baseball game. I'd really love to see it this afternoon. Can we move our one-on-one meeting to an hour earlier or tomorrow morning so I can go and support her? That's the type of humanity that I think employees are looking for. Getting yelled at, or even just being in the presence of shouting because somebody is passionate about something. Yeah, I'm not having it. I don't think a lot of other people are too. So let's jump back into the article and see where else they go with this. So it goes on to talk about toxic work cultures and the challenges and the negativity surrounding that. I've got a personal story that I can share on that one in a few minutes. But they also talk about that, other employees say they'd rather get a tongue lashing and move on than deal with a boss who is passive aggressive and resurrects previously unmentioned transgressions long after the fact. Like a fiery politician or coach, a manager who yells can appear committed. Executives are often under pressure, and in the eyes of some employees can be forgiven for losing their cool, especially if their criticisms are valid and they apologize for blowing up. Managers who are usually even-keeled can sometimes use a rare tirade to punctuate a big moment. Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit more too. There is a huge difference. The article, to its credit, makes this distinction between a coach trying to fire a team up and, say, employees who are, struggling to hit a deadline, or there's an opportunity that's popping up that maybe leadership feels they should take advantage of. And it's important that employees feel that you're passionate about something, but again, kind of yelling and losing your cool around it, even if you apologize, is rarely the right way to go about it. So I've managed, large teams. I've managed small teams. I consult with companies now, and I help leaders understand how to better relate to their teams. And, employees want to know that as a leader, you're in the trenches with them, right? You're not barking orders from on high. You're not, strolling out to the golf course while you bark commands about shit that needs to be done by the time you come back. Employees want to see a level of investment and a level of commitment coming from their leaders that's equal to or greater than what they're asking their teams to do. It's a really, really simple equation. And, there are undoubtedly instances where people need to, sometimes they need a correction in the way they're doing things. Let's face it, sometimes there are people that try to work the system or skirt responsibility or, are not pulling their weight within the team. And that absolutely erodes confidence and erodes morale as well. But the way that you deal with that is you have private, respectful conversations with those individuals. And, if you're unable to resolve things, if things continue to go sideways and you remove that person from the team, then that sends a powerful enough statement to the rest of the team that you recognize that there was a problem and you dealt with the problem. But more importantly, you dealt with it in a way that's respectful of the dignity of others. I've had people that were on my teams that were outright disrespectful to other people. They were outright disrespectful to me. It's gets your temper up, but losing your mind in front of your teammates or in front of the people you lead doesn't create the type of environment that's conducive to people going above and beyond for you or for the company. Even when people are disrespectful, as a leader, you have to take the high road. So, yelling in meetings and being passionate about things, I think that it's a fine line on what's acceptable and what isn't. And without coaching, without kind of emotional intelligence and situational awareness around when it's okay to do so, articles and guidance like this can get people into some pretty hot water if they try to model these behaviors. A couple of personal examples that I'll share is, I once worked for a company where the leadership, the CEO, just loved to rule by fear, right? Fear and intimidation and putting people down. And this was one of those career moves where, it looked good on paper. I had a couple of yellow flags as I was going into it, but you get so excited about an opportunity, you talk yourself out of it. Yeah, I knew about 2 months in that I had made a bad move, but I had a team I was leading. I have people that I recruited into that company who had worked with me before, and I was committed to it. And I vividly remember before one meeting, which had at this point degraded into, I just knew I was going to get my ass handed to me no matter what I did in this meeting. Sharp pain in my chest, shooting pain down my arm, cold sweat, hard to breathe. As an overweight guy in his mid to late 40s at the time, boy, did that feel like a heart attack to me. So instead of doing the right thing and talking to a doctor or taking a break or calling the meeting off, I just locked myself in my office, put the fan on, tried to do some deep breathing and got it under control and went to my meeting. That was it. Went to the cardiologist, and after meeting with them, I had some nitroglycerin pills I had to take until I was able to get on and take a stress test. Week later, I get on the stress test. Doctor comes in and says, good news, bad news scenario. Good news is you've got the heart of an 18-year-old, so you need to push yourself harder in losing some weight. You don't have to worry about cardiac issues. Thanks for that, doc. But the more important thing he told me was the issues that caused this cardiac incident, this anxiety and this stress that you're feeling. We don't have a pill for it. There is no easy fix. And if you don't change it soon, it is going to kill you. Holy shit, that's a wake-up call, right? That is an absolute wake-up call that you're in an environment that is no longer invested in helping you to do better or even helping the business to move forward. Because when you've got I was in a C-level position at that point. If I was that stressed out, what was I doing to my team? And I know for sure that there are, some folks who didn't get the very best out of me as a leader because that was the type of stuff I was dealing with. So, when you start to talk about environments where you normalize yelling at people or yelling at situations, you run the risk of creating things like that, right? Now, employees can't be, petite snowflakes and be worried about taking criticism. Some of the best growth periods I've had throughout my career was when I had managers who would pull me aside and go, look, kid, here's what you need to do. Or here's where your behavior was off. Or here's something I observed and I want you to look at. Criticism equals growth equals new opportunities. I will take that philosophy to the grave. But doing it in a way that is not respectful of the humanity of the people that you're leading is always a surefire way to just sow discord. And, HR folks are worrying about employee engagement being at all-time low. Nothing's going to create your employee engagement faster than a boss who can't hold it together. So anyway, what do you think? Have you dealt with these types of situations? Let me hear your horror stories. Leave them in the comments below. Articles like this or episodes like this helpful to you? Do you like hearing about some of the stuff that I went through as a leader or sharing some war stories? Leave that in the comments below too. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of or less of. We are still building out the channel, and I love getting all of your input through the comments. I read all of them. I'm not always able to respond to them all as quickly as I'd like to, but I absolutely read everything that's left for me, so I appreciate that. With that, I'd love it if you'd ring the bell, click subscribe, do all the things so we can continue growing the channel. I am so excited with how quickly we're taking up subscribers, but we can always grow a little faster. So if you like what you're seeing, tell a friend. And with that, I wish you an amazing day, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.